red.
Chicks dig me because I rarely wear underwear, and when I do, it's usually something unusual. But now I know why I have always lost women to guys like you. I mean, it's not just the uniform, it's the stories that you tell. So much fun and imagination. When you stole that cow and your friend tried to make it with the cow, I want to party with you, cowboy. The two of us together, get it.
This is the Doom Tomb Podcast, and today we're going to do another episode of the Top 5, and it is with Zac from the band Hudu Akil. We get into it, and before we do, just a few quick thanks. Thank you to Fuzzy Cracklins Presents and The Swamp Records. Also, Mucho Printing and Glory or Death Records. Every link is in the show notes. Go check them out and see what they have. And if you haven't gotten in the Swamp Krewe yet, hey man, it's high time. Go to www.theswamprecords.com/doomtomb and get in the swamp starting at just $4.99 a month. You're going to get over 150 digital albums. And if you bump it up just a bit to $6.99 a month, you will get an exclusive limited CD sent to you each and every month with free shipping. The first month is free. You might even get some swag in that bag. So check it out when you can. And you know what? There's a ton of new music, man. He is putting out so much material. I never know what the new number is going to be. So, all right. Thanks for listening to that. And now let's get into the top 5 with Zac from the band Hudu Akil.
Into the void, no to joy have been created and destroyed.
We're back with Zac from the band Hudu Akil. And I guess the next question is, Zac, what is your top 5?
Chris, man, what's up, dude? I'm gonna give you the top 5 most influential albums for me.
All right, sir. So, we're going from 5 to 1?
It's not really in any order, I guess, man, because they were all pretty influential. But I got them written down. I'll give you the order I wrote it down. How about that?
All right, you go right ahead.
Number 1 is gonna be Metallica, Kill 'Em All.
Really?
It was the first album I ever got, like hard rock, heavy metal album. I was probably like 10 or 11, and my mom kept me out of school to go to the dentist. And it's one of them things, like afterwards we go to like FYE, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if the kids nowadays know about that.
Well, you know, those. Okay, so remind me again. Did you grow up in Texas?
Yeah.
So,
right.
What were the record stores out there? What were some big chains?
I remember having we only had the really corporate ones, man. So we had Sam Goody and FYE, and then there was a couple of local ones.
Right.
Kind of like a album exchange kind of little place.
Sure, yeah, a little bit more where they would carry the stuff, probably like Kill 'Em All, you know. It's so interesting that you picked that as one of the albums. So, what was the first song off of that album that you said, "Oh, I gotta get this"?
Man, that song, I remember that lick from Seek and Destroy, man. Hearing that as a kid and watching older guys just a few years older than us jamming, man, and that riff, I remember that, and I remember not knowing what it is, but as soon as I heard it on this album, oh, that's the sound, that's what I've been chasing, that's, and every track on that album is just awesome,
Absolutely. And geez, man, I remember first track I heard off that was the Four Horsemen, and I was like, this is pretty interesting. And then the second one, there used to be this metal show. I don't know if you had them when you were growing up. There was a metal show on a radio station in New York, and they played Whiplash for the first time, and I'm like, I don't think I've ever heard anything faster in my entire life. And
Yeah, dude. Freaking Metal Militia, dude, Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth. That bass line is just so beautiful. That whole track right there with Cliff, man. You know, I had to put a Metallica track on the top 5. Really, I could put any of their first 5 albums, man. You know, a lot of people just include the first 4, but I'm down with the Black Album too. I mean, all those albums were monumental to me when I was growing up. So they totally influenced me and my style for sure.
did you get to see them live?
No, you know, I had a chance to go see them with Down, and I totally fucking missed it, you know, and that was my only shot. I haven't seen them.
Telling you, man, it's gosh. The first time I saw them on a headline, I saw them open up for Ozzy years ago, back in like Master of Puppets tour, and then when they opened their headliner, Queensryche opened up, and then it was them, and it's weird because it's a bunch of guys that are good metalhead friends of mine, and we're kind of looking at each other like, are you getting emotional right now? I'm getting emotional. What's happening here? Is this some kind of like hormone shit? But we were just so jazzed and just banging heads, and oh man, just a fantastic time. So thank you. Okay, so Metallica, Kill 'Em All, that is the first. What is the second top 5?
The number 2 on the list, we got a band I just mentioned also, is Down,
Right.
with their very first album, NOLA. I mean, I don't. What is there to say for that album that hasn't already been said? You know, it's a super group. It's an incredible album. It's kind of like the spawn of that entire like genre of music. You know, you got Pepper from COC, Kirk from Crowbar, Jimmy from I Hate God, and of course, Phil from Pantera.
Right.
I always loved Pantera, but when I heard Down, I'm like, oh, this is a little more my style, man. It's a little bit more laid back, still heavy and crunchy, man, but like southern and shit, you know what I mean?
I could totally agree. You know, you take something like Pantera, where they have that full, punch in the face Texas sound, but then you get something NOLA. I mean, that New Orleans humidity, that fucking gets to you, man. And
Yeah.
I think it came across in the riffs and in the songs, you know.
Yeah, dude, it's definitely slimy and like sludgy, you know what they say.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and also just discovering them through Pantera, it's kind of how I got into all those other bands, you know. Discovering I Hate God for me at 15, 16 years old, was just like life changing for sure, man. They got the riffs, you know. I'm a huge Jimmy Bower fan. Anything he's a part of.
And you know, man, for some reason, I don't know why, but I keep missing them for whatever reason. I have never seen them live. Have you?
I've seen them twice, man, and they blew my mind both times. One time I seen them, we were all on the same level, you know. They were on the floor with the audience. And basically, there was nothing separating us from the band. And the crowd nearly knocked him over a few times. You know, Mike had to do that thing where he swings the fucking mic stand around.
Yep. Dude, those floor shows, man, that sometimes I feel that they're a little scary, and like I look down, no pun intended, I look down, and like I see this huge pedal board that's like, there's a lot of expense there, and people just like, throwing their beers around and they're going back and forth, and like, oh, please just step back just a bit for me, please. It gives me an anxiety,
I almost feel a bit responsible. I think I was kind of pushing back against everybody, trying to give them some breathing room at one point,
Yeah, I mean, you gotta play.
Bring it back to Down. The last time I saw them was at Psycho Fest, and they always put on a great show. I fucking love Down. I met Jimmy Bower when we were at Psycho Fest, so that was cool as fuck, man. NOLA's just a great record. anybody that hasn't heard it definitely needs to listen to it, man, because it just opened me to a whole new world of music.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, just bury me in smoke. That's all I gotta say. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, Doob interlude, bro. Bro, that's all fucking Jimmy Bauer right there. That's great shit.
Hell yeah, it is. And you know, okay, so let's move forward to number 3. What is your third in the top 5?
Number 3, I got Songs for the Deaf from Queens of the Stone Age.
Okay, interesting. And tell me why.
Okay, so this album, man, this band, first of all, is one of my favorite bands. But this album is just like, there's so many layers to it. I just really enjoy how, when you listen to it, almost in the succession of tracks, it's like every other song is sung by a different person, and then it's like rotating between Josh Homme and Nick Oliveri and Mark Lanigan, which are 3 of my favorite fucking artists.
Absolutely.
And then just from start to finish, you know, it's got that concept of it's like you're driving out of the desert down into LA is how they describe it. And
I could totally see that. Yeah, even as soon as I hear when you say an album like that or just anything from that era, all I can think of is a Desert Generator Fest.
Oh yeah, dude, I love watching those videos of them jamming out there in the desert like that, dude. And just their tones and everything they're able to do in a song, man. Like, I really appreciate Queens of the Stone Age for their talent and just doing things outside of the box, you know.
Right.
They had Dave Grohl drumming on that album. It was just like all the fucking powers that be came together. Nick Oliveri, he added an element to that band that they've kind of been missing since, you know. But yeah, I love that band and that album just being like, I love a good concept album, you know. If you can add an extra dimension for me to enjoy, you know, it's kind of like a conspiracy theory, you know what I mean? You're listening to all these songs like, oh, this connects like this and these go like this, and this is what he's talking about.
Right.
They kind of have those little skits in between songs where it's like the radio station changing tune, you know.
Yes.
and the fucking radio DJ guy. I mean, the whole concept of that is brilliant, and I think it gives like me, the listener, like a whole extra dimension of just, you know, something to indulge in.
Well, I mean, you know, God is in the radio, as Mark Lanigan would have said. So, of all the tracks on there, what is your favorite track?
Dude, I fucking love that song, "The Sky Is Falling," man. That's just such a huge riff whenever it kicks off, man. I love that song. And just that whole song is just amazing. It's hard to choose, but right off the top of the head, that would be the one.
Okay, now let's go to the next album in the top 5 for you. What is it?
Number 4 is another concept album, and it's probably one of the most well-known concept albums ever, man. It's got to be, and that's Pink Floyd, "Dark Side of the Moon."
Oh, interesting. Okay, so I didn't know. As soon as you say concept, I'm like, okay, so it's either going to be Pink Floyd or Pink Floyd, and it's either going to be Dark Side of the Moon or The Wall. So you chose Dark Side of the Moon, and okay, so what is it about Dark Side of the Moon that gets you?
Everything about that album, man. I used to play that album and go to sleep at night, dude, and just leave that shit on repeat. I love everything about it, man. Breathing the air, man. Great Gig in the Sky. You know, it's all weaving a story together, and that really draws me to bands and albums. You know, I came from that era, probably the last of our kind to really sit on the ground, lay on your back and listen to the album. You know what I mean? With no interruptions, just from start.
And the beautiful part about Dark Side of the Moon is you can this is back in the time when bands were making things specifically for LPs. So each side of the album, continuous piece, kept together with the heartbeat, really amazing. But have you ever tried syncing it? The whole Wizard of Oz thing?
No, I never have, man. I heard all about it. I don't fucking have time, man. Maybe one day when I get some time, I will.
Understood. So,
you?
yeah. You wait. I think it's the third roar of the lion or second roar of the lion, MGM lion, and then you hit play. It is spooky. It really is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's even the release. I mean, visually, it's light. From a prism that I don't know. It just shows like the world in a way, and it's hard for me to even put into what I want. But it's a very simple design, but it says so much at the same time.
Yeah, man, a triangle is like the most powerful shape, because you need 3. You don't really need 4. You can make something stand with 3 points, not with 2 points.
Right.
So, and then it's got that black, it's like an invisible ray of light, and then refracting off of that blackness, it's got that prism with rainbow colors. Then, yeah, it's really powerful and really simple. I fucking love that album, man.
Oh, and as well you should, sir. As well you should. So, okay, of all the tracks, which is your favorite?
Oh, man, it's so hard to say, dude. I think, I don't know, man. I really like Us and Them, and then how it goes in the Great Gig in the Sky, and just the whole second, the side B of that, man, is just super powerful, man.
Yeah, I mean, yes, side 2 kicks off with Money, and then you have Us and Them, Any Color You Like, and I think goes from there to Brain Damage and Eclipse. Is that the last track? I think so.
You need to start calling stuff off the top of my head, man.
Okay, so that is number 4. So what is number 5?
All right, number 5 is gonna catch you off guard as well, man. I'm going Nirvana. Nirvana, Nevermind.
Okay, you know what? There's a part of me that I want to say I'm surprised, but I get it because honestly, you and I a difference in age, and everybody that I talk to that is of your age said like this was a pivotal album growing up. Okay, so what is it, and what can you tell me about your love for this album?
So I'm like just getting into like hard rock music with that Kill 'Em All CD and shit, man. And then I heard this Nirvana stuff. Like a friend from school was showing it to me.
Right.
And it just really just blew me away, man. It was still heavy, but with fucking hooks, man, and like song structures and stuff, and then it's like my generation's Beatles, but with fucking distortion pedals, you know what I mean? And just Dave Grohl on the drums, like that dude's my favorite drummer, and the way he plays the drums on that album is just excellent, dude. I mean, obviously, Smells Like Teen Spirit's the first song I ever heard. It's just when that shit kicks off, obviously there's a reason that it was such a huge song.
Oh yeah,
it's powerful, the way those drums kick on, plack, and the songs are easy to learn for a young kid that's just picking up a guitar. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why it was so influential for me, man. I could grab a guitar and play that thing from back to front.
I remember that time, man, and you can hear it. I personally think you can hear it anyway in Nevermind, where Yeah, Cobain had to be a huge Melvins fan, and a huge a Pixies fan as well. Because I feel like I can hear a lot of that.
You know, he played drums for the Melvins for a very short time.
Cobain did, or Grohl?
Kurt Cobain.
No shit, I did not know that. Oh, thank you.
He either played with them for a couple shows or he just tried out for them, but they were all hanging around, man. And I want to say that he was playing drums for them for a little bit, for a very short amount of time.
You know, when that came out, I remember you could see the shift in music, and there was a lot of what I would say hair metal bands and etc. that were really upset because they saw the writing on the wall. They're like, oh boy, I can't compete with this unless I give up my leather and my, I don't know, whatever they're wearing, for ripped jeans and flannel now. And you saw some bands actually try that, which was like, stop it, just know your time,
Yeah, like, I don't know if we needed any more Poison or fucking Warrant or anything like that. When I was younger, I hated that shit, man. I didn't grow to appreciate it until I got a little older in life. And I go back and listen to Motley Crue and shit like that, I really like Skid Row. They're really fucking cool.
His voice is fucking crushing, and the one thing that I will never forget about that band is they made the first release, and it had a lot of rock elements, like harder rock, but it wasn't brutal, it wasn't brutal metal or anything. The second album they did, they went harder, which the only time that I have really seen that, and it was later down the line, personally, for me, was Pantera.
Yeah. Yeah, and that follow-up to Cowboys from Hell, man, they peaked at #1, dude.
Yeah, so Vulgar Display comes out, Vulgar Display of Power, and it's crushing. But then it goes even further with Far Beyond Driven, and then even further with the Great Southern Trendkill. I was like, they're going for it was a very borderline grind in a way.
Yeah, Far Beyond Driven is the one I meant, man. They debuted right at #1, I believe. Reinventing the Steel and fucking Great Southern Trendkill, that was taking on a style. They were like a well-oiled machine at that point, man. Just the riffs and the sounds that Dime and Vinny make together on some of those songs on Reinventing the Steel is just like, damn, man. You know what I mean? That album right there, that was my favorite album for a long time. I probably played the shit out of it.
Well, and it spoke to you at the time, and I'd still throw it on. I still like it. But you're right. Nevermind. It changed so much in the way of music, and it sounds like it shaped you. And you could hear little tinges here and there in Hudu Akil, but I don't know if you draw from it. I don't know if you get inspired by it or what have you.
Honestly, definitely, man. Kurt Cobain has been an inspiration to me since I was the youngster, man. I've always really loved Nirvana, and if you really study their song structures and listen to their harmonies and stuff like that, then you realize, oh man, this is just the Beatles. Once you really start studying more music and start figuring stuff out, because if you listen to what they looked up to and shit, man, it was the Beatles and stuff like that, and just their song structure, their hooks, their chorus, everything's so catchy, but at the same time so against the grain for that time period, and just their look, and they just shook up the world, man, and I really appreciated that. And he didn't really seem like he wanted any of that either, and I always thought that was pretty cool too.
Absolutely. Now, what is your favorite track off?
Shit, man. I really like Breed. I like Drain You. I like In Bloom. I like On a Plane.
I will tell you that for this one, it's really difficult for me because there's layers. Like, obviously, the first song I heard was "Smells Like Teen Spirit," fantastic. But when I heard "Come As You Are," I was like, "Huh."
Yeah.
There's more depth. But then when I heard "Breed," I was like, I'll be 1,000% honest with you. I've never heard a fucking tone like that. And I was like, what are they doing?
I know, dude.
And then
big.
even Territorial Pissings, it just reminds me of something that's straight up so goddamn punk. But I just love the way it hits you in the face, it knocks you over, and then it's done and you move forward.
They even took that fucking Doobie Brothers thing or whoever the fuck that was. Come on, people now.
Yeah. That's right.
Doobie Brothers is like Loggins and Messina or some shit like that, man.
Wait, what is it? Come along, people now. Try to mind your brother. God, love one another right now.
We're all on acid right now.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those 60s bands. I know I'm blanking, and I'm sure we'll both kick ourselves in the face for not knowing that.
Oh, I'm stumbling so many questions that you're asking me right now, Chris.
Hey, it's all good. Look, just two friends talking. That's all it is, brother. Okay, so we got 4. Now, let's go to the last one. What is number 5?
It was number 5.
That was number 5?
That was number 5.
Oh, wait a minute. All right, hold on a minute. All right, all right. It could honestly very well be the.
I'll give you one more that I really wanted to put on the list, but I ran out of space.
Okay.
So let's pretend we're at number 5 now.
So, like I said, Zach, you had a bunch of other ones, and now what is your final pick?
I'm gonna do Caius and the Circus Leaves Town.
You know, I was wondering if that was gonna come up. So, tell me about your journey with Caius, my friend.
I just love that band so much, dude. I had a really good friend back home that kind of, once I started getting into these bands, he knew all about them and shit. So once I started bringing it up, he was like giving me CDs to borrow and telling me, and I just, Blues for the Red Sun is a great album.
Truly is, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Fucking, man. But... And the Circus Leaves Town is just their last album,
Yeah, what was that, like around 95, I want to say?
Right in there somewhere, man. Right after Kurt Cobain killed himself, because they put, there's like a secret track on the end of the very last song. And it's, the lyrics are like singing about, or it's like a kind of a little letter to Chris and Dave. If you look into that, man, it's a little secret.
Yeah, I remember something of what was it? I forgot the name of the track now. Like Day One or something like that.
Yeah. The actual track, the one we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I think the end of fucking what is that fucking song called? See, I'm totally blanking on everything now that we're on the phone, dude.
Well, I know after the last track we had Spaceship Landing.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then they put that song on there. But no, just fucking, I'm a huge fan of Josh Homme and Caius, When I actually got into Caius, I had heard Queens of the Stone Age before, and at the time I wasn't really ready for them, They had their kind of girl vocals,
Right. Yeah, there's it always kind of makes me laugh a little bit when I go through some older music and I go through track by track by track, and I'm like, oh, okay, 1 Inch Man, so that's where that band got that name. Yeah, okay, I forgot about that shit,
Oh yeah, you find that a lot in the stoner scene. A lot of bands, they fucking take their name from one band song, and then they'll get big, and then another band will take their name from that band song, but it's all just like an offshoot of some Black Sabbath reference.
Yeah, it usually is. So, okay, I have to punch this up right now before I forget. So, let's see. Let's go over here to this, and there. Okay. So I put up this thing on social media, and it is this is your official Stoner Doom band name generator. So your first name is Zac, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So let's see. I'm looking through and using the first 3 letters of your name, which is Zac. Your official Stoner Doom band generator name is Mournful Bong Sorcerer. That is yours.
Man, I'm gonna get that shit tattooed on my chest.
Well, don't go that far. Don't go that far, because mine right now is where is it? Acid Mammoth Monolith. That's mine.
Oh, how cool, man! It's got mammoth in there.
Hey, you know what? You gotta. Yes, I did look at that, and I was like, oh, that is very nice. I mean, some people they have like Witch Leaf Builder, Old Smoke Mammoth, Mournful Wizard, Black Witchbeard. That ain't bad.
Here's what I want to know: is how long until you have a full chest piece of a woolly mammoth?
You know what? I don't know, man. It's either going on the front, the back, or the arm. I just had this conversation yesterday with somebody. Like, it's going to be time to do that, and I know who's going to do it. But it's like, I just got to get the time.
Piece too.
What's that?
I said it'd probably make a good calf piece too.
Oh yeah, it would, man. Yeah, it would.
We got calves. You can fit a nice little portrait on there.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. You know, it's the first time I've ever heard that from anyone.
Hey, man, I appreciate a man with good calves. I work on the roof.
That's right, you do. That's right, you do. Okay, so let's go back. So we got Caius and the Circus Leaves Town. We've got Nirvana, Nevermind. We have Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. We got Metallica, Kill 'Em All. We got Down, NOLA, and
Songs for the Deaf. Queens of the Stone Age.
Songs for the Deaf, Queens of the Stone Age. That's it. All right, so I guess it's a bonus. We got 6.
One up in this one.
Yeah,
I really like concept albums. You know, albums that kind of tell a story with their songs. Oh hell, there was 3 or 4 more albums I really wanted to put on here, but that kind of influenced us in making this album that we just did. You know, we wanted it to all tie together like that, kind of tell a story and have little interludes that tie in between different tracks and stuff like that. So
yeah,
that's why I had to throw Songs for the Deaf and Dark Side of the Moon on there.
I know we talked about it when we did the interview a little bit ago, but man, each time I listen to this album, your latest release, Eye for an Eye, I just love it. There's so many elements, so many layers to it, and we were talking a little off mic that you were doing some extra work for this. Something you want to share, or is it secret?
It's kind of secret, but I can dish a little bit of it out to you, man. Earlier today, before we got on the phone together, I was over at the studio with Ian Colbert from Stonelit.
Right.
And just doing some acoustic stuff, man. We're doing a couple covers. And just so we can have a little extra to give people, upon the release of our new album and stuff. We always want to give to the people. The more we give, the better we feel.
Is this something like, so somebody buys it on Bandcamp or whatever, they get a little bit extra?
Yep, that's basically it. It's going to be like a bonus track at the end of the album. If you go to Bandcamp right now and look at the track list, and it's not on there, but as soon as the album drops, it's going to be on there. So that's kind of all I'm going to say about it right now, man. I love fucking surprising people,
That's cool as hell. And, the thing is, I talked a while ago to this band called Bogwife, and they are out of Denmark. And something is going on with the government and Google and it's all about artists getting paid, which, yes, of course, artists should get paid. And they were talking initially about how Google took down a lot of Danish artists from being able to see their music. And I think it's only for people in Denmark. And it's kind of like a power move, right? And, we're talking about it, and I'm like, well, shit, if people would just, like, you don't have to go to YouTube and watch it for free. Why don't you just go buy it? It's, you'll have it, and it'll be your piece of merchandise, and you connect with the band, and you support the band instead of, like, doing some kind of, I don't know. I know so many people are on the different apps, whether it's Spotify or Pandora or Apple Music, whatever. That's wonderful. I still like the physical product. I think I'm going to be a sucker for that till the day I die.
It's funny that you say that, man, because I was at the record store earlier today. I got a big box of records that somebody gave me, and I already picked it for everything good. So I tried to go see what I could get for it, man. And then I got some store credit at the record store, and I'm looking around. I got records that I want to get just to have in my collection, but I'm not really interested in buying records from the record store. I really enjoy buying a vinyl record from a band when I see them on tour, And I'm not talking about, like, huge name acts. I'm talking about going and seeing, like, fucking Mothership or, Great Electric Quest and Duel, and that's what my record collection is full of. Those kind of albums, man.
Mine too.
Yeah, man. I'm really not interested in, like, picking through the records at the record store, which I'm glad that we have record stores. So, like, that's the music I stream. All the shit that's been around for years and years. The shit that I buy physically is bands that I really want to support. That I have the opportunity to, know and be friends with, and then I see them all around the country, and I grab a vinyl from them.
It makes total sense, and I got to tell you, man, I miss the hell out of that. I miss going to, not only going, all right, so, the easy thing to say is, oh, yeah, I miss going to the shows and seeing the acts or whatever, but I like interacting. I like talking to the people and getting over at that merch table and like, oh, what do you got? What do you got left? And, did you bring any of this? Did you bring it? And it's almost like I feel like I'm getting like something secret in a way.
Yeah. Gosh, I miss it too, Chris. I can almost taste the fucking Lone Star or the PBR.
Yeah, well, if you're in Texas, it's Lone Star. Over by us, it's going to be some PBR, I guess. Well, Zac, thank you so much as always. Fantastic top 5. And I think by now, the release should be out. And I guess we'll talk to you sometime soon.
All right, thank you very much, Chris. And anybody that wants to check us out, just go to huduakil.bandcamp.com, and then we're on all social media at Hudu Akil.
That is HUDUAKIL, and I will put a link in the show notes.
Thank you very much, Chris. It's always a pleasure talking to you, man. I hope you have a good night.
Yeah, you too, brother. Take care.
Later.
Thank you so much for listening. And speaking of thanks, we have to thank Ian from No Masters Audio for editing the podcast. Really appreciate it, my friend. Also, Glory or Death Records, Mucho Printing, and The Swamp Records. Head over to theswamprecords.com/doomtomb to get in the Swamp Crew. You know all the rest. Doomtomb Podcast across social media. doomtombpodcast@gmail.com for interviews, reviews, and submissions. And craniumradio.com, 6 to 9 p.m. each and every Sunday, 6 to 9 p.m. And then we have the podcast after that. New and archived episodes. Check it out. What else you got to do? Really, seriously. So get in the chat room, too. That'd be awesome. Make a request, for God's sakes. All right, everybody, stay healthy, stay happy. We will talk to you soon. And above all, stay heavy.